Now, I've been 3D printing for about a year and a half, and throughout my time in this hobby, I've made some pretty complex and interesting designs. But before I got into this hobby, I was scared because of these 5 misconceptions right here. In this video, we're going to go over the top 5 most common misconceptions and how my time in this hobby has made me see these things as completely wrong and incorrect. The first misconception we got is price. I see a lot of people at conventions I go to and different things, and people on social media telling me that, oh, I want to get into 3D printing, but the printers are just way too expensive. That's false. 3D printers over the years have fluctuated through many different price points, and they do many different things, and you can find a printer that can print as well as the top printers out there for $300, $200, and it'll do the exact same thing. Now, obviously, you're not going to get the same high quality prints as you would with the $1,000 printer, $1,500 printer. You're obviously not going to get that same quality, but if you're in it for cosplay or for the mostly the hobbyists, you get prints off the bed, you're going to be post-processing anyway, so you don't even need that high quality if you can make the quality better. But printer nowadays, they've been doing so well of getting high quality prints off the bed with low price points. There's an Ender 3 V3, for example. There's a lot of Bamboo Lab printers out there that are really cheap, sub $600, sub $500, that gets you the high quality prints that are competing with these $1,000 Creality printers, $1,000 FL Sun printers that are just putting out the quality that those printers can put out for the normal average hobbyist. And it's really amazing to see that. So that's a misconception that I see all the time is, oh, it's too expensive, yada yada yada. And most of the time I'm seeing these from cosplayers that they're saying it's too expensive to get into this hobby because they just can't afford it, or I just don't want to pay that amount of money on a printer. But nowadays printers are going so low and depreciating so much in price that you can get a high quality printer that used to be $1,000, $1,500 for sub $500, and it's insane. Like, take me for an example. I got my Creality K1 Max for $600 off a holiday sale. It usually runs for over $1,800 to $1,000 for that printer. I got it for $600. So usually these sites like Creality, Bamboo Lab, Elegoo, all these sites like that, they usually run a lot of deals because they're trying to get people to buy their printers, to test them out, to do this and that, to give reviews. So they run tons and tons of deals. So that's another thing. If you can catch a deal on a holiday sale, you can get the price for 50% off. It's insane. They're just like just giving the printer away. Or you can get these for normal deals like Memorial Day deals or deal of the week. There's so many deals that these 3D print websites run that it's just so easy to pick up and grab a printer that is such high quality, high standard, and it's so accessible to the common person. That's going to be misconception number 1. You can always find a deal out there that these 3D print websites are running, or you can find a low price printer that puts out amazing quality. I'll put some on the screen right here just so y'all get like a visual representation, but there's always a deal out there. There's always something out there that gets the common man a good quality printer and really accessible printer for amazing prices. For misconception number 2, we got difficulty. Man, if you don't get that ass up and learn a new hobby, I fell on my face and failed so many times with 3D printing. I didn't just spawn in knowing how to 3D print. It's going to be difficult, just like skateboarding, drawing, just like any other hobby. This hobby is going to be difficult when you first get into it. You gotta get your feet wet, learn how to do it, put some time in. This is a metal machine with moving metal parts. Stuff is gonna break, stuff is gonna wear down. You're gonna need to take your printer apart and diagnose it. That's just how it is. But if you put in the time, if you put in the effort to wanting to learn how to do it and do everything, you'll be totally fine. It's just like any other hobby that takes time to learn. It will take time. Also, just like my friend always said, YouTube is the best university. If anything goes wrong with your printer, most likely someone else out there on the internet or on YouTube has had the similar issue. I will be making a video on that too. Someone has had a common issue like that as well, and someone has made a video with the solution. So always look it up. You have the internet with you. You have a phone. You have a computer. You're watching this video, right? That means you got a computer or a phone or something to watch this video with. So you always will have something to help you out. Also, I hear a lot of people talking about the software is too difficult to learn. There's so many different softwares. There's so many YouTube videos on that too of people using different softwares, and it's pretty point and blank simple. I know Orca Slicer. I have not tried Orca Slicer yet, but I know Orca Slicer is the easiest, most down to earth slicer to use. I use Ultimaker Kira because I feel like that's easier for me. That's an easy software too. We'll get into that in a little bit, but it's a hobby. It's going to be difficult. You're going to have a learning curve. You're going to have multiple different things you're going to need to do, and you'll get through it. As long as you want to learn, you'll get through it. Another thing I forgot to mention is 3D printers have gotten so good that the barbaric tactics that people used to do back in the day, like using a paper to level a bed or calibrating their printers with screws and sticks and stones, you didn't need to do that anymore. Like my K1 Max, I click auto auto level, I click calibrate and I leave the room and go to work. You do not need it. It's so advanced now that the normal person can just pick up a printer, take it out the box, and it just works. That's how it is. And it's so good that most common people can now get into 3D printing and have fun just making stuff, because it's gotten so easy and accessible to the common person that printers nowadays are so good. Like I said, you can just turn it on out of the box, calibrate it, throw a print at it, and leave. It's insane to see that. It's really insane. So ending on that note, yeah, it's gonna be a difficult hobby first to get into it, to get your feet wet. You're gonna fall on your face, you're gonna fail multiple times, you're gonna be like, bro, I don't want to do this no more, because that's definitely how I was. Thankfully, I had my brother to teach me some of the ways, because he already knew how to 3D print, but I couldn't imagine being in his shoes, because he fell on his face multiple times, didn't have no help. He did have YouTube though, best university, but he had no help and fell on his face. And another thing, like I said about the 3D printers getting so advanced that you can just throw a print at it, calibrate it, and leave, and it's gotten so accessible. So I don't want to hear none of that difficulty excuses. I don't want to hear no more excuses. Pick up that cheap 3D printer with them deals and get to printing and create and have fun. For the next misconception, we got time and effort. Oh my gosh, people just think that you can throw a print at the printer, leave, come back, and it'll all spawn in at your hand. That's not how it works. You will need time, you will need effort to put in. I'm assuming you're here because you're a cosplayer or just a hobbyist that likes to make stuff from like animes and different pop culture things. Most of the time, there's so many intricate designs from these new shows and everything like that you will need multiple different parts, and you will need post-processing. You will need post-processing. So you will need sandpaper, you will need glue, you will need paint, you will need the sand, you will need to wash your stuff down, you will need to mold stuff together. That's how it works. That's really the time and effort part that comes into it. You gotta put in some effort. Now, if you want to, you can do the silk filament method. I do have videos on that, and do silk filament and get it off the bed like that. But most of the time, for different intricate pieces that don't just have colors like that you can get, you will need to do a lot of post-processing. You will need to put some effort and some time into sanding. That's another thing. If you want your quality to be better, you will need to sand. You will need to put all the effort in together. That's basically it. Now, don't get me wrong, printers have advanced so much that you could get a print off the bed and it will look good, but nothing is going to beat the post-processing. Nothing is going to beat sanding something down smooth and having a clean painted finish. No matter how good silk filaments are, no matter how good printers get, it will always have layer lines. It will never not have layer lines in it. So always post-processing and putting in that time and effort, you will get beautiful results. So that's the time and effort. A lot of people think that you can just get a printer, get stuff off the bed, it'll look nice and amazing off rip, and you can just go out and pop out. That's not how it works. You will need a lot of post-processing. You will need a lot of time and effort. And I think it's beautiful that people can really put time into their craft, put effort into their craft, and make something really nice come to life. Now we're on to the fourth misconception. If you made it this far in the video, man, I love you. Anyway, the fourth misconception is expensive printers print better. You can get an Ender 3 from 2010 and it can print the exact same as a Creality K1 Max from 2020. It can do the exact same thing, but you will obviously have that quality drop off because you're not going to get the exact same banger print quality from a K1 Max from a Crust like an Ender 3, but you can do anything the same way. That's where post-processing comes in. If you get the post-processing, you sand everything down and do everything, you can line up the two props together that you printed with a K1 Max and printed with an Ender 3, it'll look the exact same. I hate the misconception of, oh, like this expensive printer is gonna print better and blow my stuff out the water. If you obviously have it like a dry print and just take it off the bed, it will blow your stuff out the water. I'm not gonna lie. But if you do have like the post process, like I said, and put in the time and effort, then you can do way better than people pumping out prints from a K1 Max or a Bamboo Lab P1P or them high quality LED printers. You can beat them out the water if you just put in the post processing and time and effort. But the misconception of people thinking that expensive printers always just print better and you can't do anything about it, post processing will help you with that. Obviously, yes, that's kind of true, because if you get a brand new Core XY printer that has just been made out the factory from 2023 and put it up against an old timey assembled Ender 3, it will obviously blow it out the water. But if you use the post processing, it will work out in your favor. Summarizing this misconception, yes, expensive printers most of the time obviously will print better than older printers, but I'm assuming you're here because you're a cosplayer or a hobbyist, so you will do the post processing process, and any type of post processing can look as good as any of the top quality printers. If you post process, if you put in the time and effort, I guarantee you, I promise you that it can look as good as a K1 Max, a Bamboo Lab P1P, the top Elegoo printers. You will get the fire quality of these printers from post processing with your own printer. So I don't believe in the expensive printers will just print better and you can spawn in with that. I do agree somewhat when you can just get it off the bed if you're not doing any post processing, but if you do post processing, you can line up the two together and they'll look the exact same. If not, the older printer can put out better quality. Now for the last misconception, we got size. Contrary to popular belief, size does not always matter. Many different printers come in many different sizes, but you can get a printer with the lowest build size of like 256 cubed and put it up against a gigantic big size of 500 cubed, and you can do the exact same stuff. You will need to split stuff up and cut it up and put it in the mesh mixer and do a bunch of stuff like that, but most of the time you do not need a gigantic printer. You will not need a gigantic printer. Now, if you want a gigantic printer, by all means go buy it, because it will do things in one shot, and that's always way easier. I always like doing less work, so you will get it in one shot and it will be perfect. But any printer can do any object. Any printer can do any object. You just got to put in the time and effort again and split it up and put different parts together and move things around. But most of the time, size does not matter when it comes to 3D printing. Pause. Now, summarizing this last misconception, I do see a lot of people saying, I need the biggest size. Pause. I need the biggest printer because I want to one-shot stuff and I want to just get it off the bed. By all means, do that. I'm not knocking you for it, because I'm a man of like, the less work I have to do, the better. So I'm not knocking you for it, but any printer can print anything. You can get the 256 cube and split it up, as long as you put in the work and the effort of going into different softwares, splitting up. I know Orca Slicer has a cutting software. You can slice up objects and do it like that, but I'm always a man of not doing the most work. So if you can do that, go ahead. But I'm just saying, you do not need the biggest printer to get good prints, to get anything you want. You can make anything with any size printer. Since I love y'all so much, I'm gonna give y'all a bonus misconception. 3D prints are weak and not strong. There's so many people out there that be like, I'd rather make this out of foam because I don't want to worry about it breaking. I don't want to worry about it falling or anything like that. That is true, but 3D prints are really stronger than you people make it out to be. I kid you not, I was at a con this one time. This dude was like, hey, I made this out of foam. You made it out of 3D print. Let's drop it and see what happens. Come on, bro. If I drop it, you know it's going to probably break. Be realistic. But still, you can have so many different factors in the strength of your prints. Like I said, always print standing up, because you will have a higher quality and you'll get that strength. You could put in more walls. I recently found out that you could put in walls, and when you put in the walls, it will strengthen the print to the point where it cannot break. There's different materials you can print with to make it stronger. I use PLA Plus. There's so many different factors that makes your 3D print stronger, rather than just being like, nah, it's not strong at all. This PLA plastic is stronger than people make it out to be. So that's another bonus misconception. I won't touch on it too much, but 3D prints are really stronger than people make them out to be. And don't be scared just because people are like, it's a 3D print, it's just gonna break. As long as you take care of your print, one, you should always take care of your stuff and make sure it not break. Even if it does break, you can always remake it. But two, as long as you tweak your settings to make it be strong as it can be, and if you know you have a piece that's gonna have a lot of weight and a lot of weight on it, you will need to make it stronger, and there's opportunities and possibilities to do that. That's gonna do it for this video. A long video for y'all. Finally, I got y'all a long video of the top 5 misconceptions of 3D printing that I've experienced in this hobby. Also a bonus misconception of 3D printing. But that's gonna do it for this video. Thank y'all so much for watching this video. If you made it to the end, leave a comment. Thank y'all so much for watching this video, man. I cannot stress it enough. You guys motivate me to keep going, to keep grinding, and I can't wait to keep consistently putting out these videos for y'all to watch and enjoy. Thank y'all so much. I hope y'all learned something new today. If I missed a misconception, drop it in the comments down below. I'm thinking of making a part 2. I might make a part 2, I don't know. But if I missed something, drop it in the comments down below. Thank y'all so much for watching this video, man. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, your night, whenever y'all motherfuckers is watching this video. And as always, DMB on top. Peace.